Albin Kurti. Really good to talk to you today, sir. Thanks a lot for joining us on Sky News. How concerned are you that the events that are happening in Ukraine could spill over into the Balkans, possibly into your country?
Good morning. Well, I think that we've already seen this in the Balkans, in Kosovo in spring 1999, when 860,000 Albanians from Kosovo were deported to Albania, Montenegro and North Macedonia. Hundreds of massacres took place. 12,000 civilians have been killed, unarmed civilians, and at the same time 20,000 women have been raped. We see now this Russian invasion, military aggression, that every institutional leader, every European and world politician should condemn fiercely, clearly. And in this way, we should all show solidarity and admiration with the courage and liberation struggle of Ukrainian people. Balkans is not immune from the effects of the situation in Ukraine, because in the Balkans we have a country which did not impose sanctions on Russian Federation, which did not join EU into condemning Russian invasion, and that is Serbia, our first neighbor. We have a very long border with Serbia. Serbia is our northern neighbor who does not recognize Republic of Kosovo, in contrast to Albania, Montenegro and North Macedonia. They have very strong ties, and these ties are both cultural and historical on one hand, but also military and economic ones. For example, Serbia has 14 MiG-29, and these fighter jets, and they've gotten 8 of them as donation from Belarus and 6 from Russian Federation. In Serbian parliament, out of 250 MPs, 151 of them are members of the Russian-Serbian friendship group. It is the largest friendship group, and at the same time Gazprom, Russian Gazprom, owns 56% of oil industry in Serbia and 51% of gas storage in Banatski Dvor in Vojvodina, which is the biggest one in southern Eastern Europe. Lukoil, Sberbank, all Russian companies have their branches in Serbia, and that's why people of Kosovo are worried that despotic president of Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, will try to outsource war also in the Western Balkans by turning it into his battleground with Western democracies. But we stand firm and vigilant, and we are not afraid. We want to join EU and NATO. Currently, we have NATO in Kosovo, but sooner we get NATO membership, it will be better for people of Kosovo, for Republic of Kosovo, but for the entire region and European continent in general.
And Kosovo has already been mentioned, hasn't it, by the Russian foreign minister a few times. He said that people from Kosovo had gone to fight in Donbass. What do you make of that?
That shows his intention. He wants to destabilize the Balkans. That's why he's saying these false things. There are no Kosovar citizens who went to fight in Donbass. It is Russia which annexed Donbass and Crimea. Let us not forget that President Putin came to power as Prime Minister of Russian Federation only 2 months after liberation of Kosovo in 1999. And then he annexed South Ossetia and Abkhazia in Georgia in the same year, few months after we declared our independence on 17th of February 2008. President Putin was mentioning Kosovo at least once a month, and now he's doing it every week, because he simply hates NATO, hates the West. He is a despotic leader who is both bitter and nostalgic, and he would like to turn hybrid war into war. Now we have seen that hybrid war was never a substitution for war. It was just its preparatory phase. And there is hybrid war also in the Western Balkans. And Sputnik Center is in Belgrade for the entire region of Western Balkans. That's why EU and NATO should engage more with the Western Balkans. I urge 5 non-recognizers within EU to recognize Republic of Kosovo. Spain, Slovakia, Romania, Greece and Cyprus should recognize independence of Kosovo, and in this way contribute a great deal to peace, stability and security. On the other hand, President Putin was hosting at Sochi last November President of Serbia Vučić, who during the meeting showed map of Kosovo with northern part in particular, because some of the illegal structures of Serbia are still very active and functioning there. Basically, they are in close coordination. That's why EU capitals should be very firm in asking from Belgrade to condemn Russian invasion and military aggression, because Ukraine has not been overrun by earthquake or floods. It was not a natural disaster. It was war machinery led by a despotic president with a genocidal intent, which is causing a mass expulsion of Ukrainians from Ukraine. Apparently, Russian blitzkrieg has failed, but it is obvious for me that they will go now after a partition, after dividing Ukraine into eastern and western part, where the western part they will try to be landlocked and as small territorially as possible. That's why I support people of Ukraine. We have imposed sanctions on Russian Federation, just like Council of EU decided. And at the same time, we are going to host 20 journalists from Ukraine who had to flee their country. Last Sunday, the decision of Bundestag was historic. And that was of a great help for EU and for the region.
Okay, we must leave it there. Prime Minister of Kosovo, Albin Kurti, really good to talk to you today.